those who are just joining.
Can you boost Simon a little bit?
What's that?
Boost Simon a little bit. Spike is down low.
Okay.
Boost him?
You're right in front of the speakers, you know that, right?
Right.
You might need to go to the doctor. Let's see if that connected. It did connect. All right, let's record this for us. All right. That I hopefully will do it. And that means it's Legendary Friday. This is insane. This is an insane tasting. You're very lucky to be here. I'm just going to point that out to you right now. Because Simon's here.
Yeah.
Simon, what do you think? Yeah, you're the international ambassador or total global? No? Universal. Cosmic. I like cosmic. All right. Simon's here tonight, who's a legend in his own mind, and he's here tonight to taste you on some legendary Laphroaig. So, without further ado, oh, now here we go to the back. Go to the back of the classroom. Welcome. All right. Is that before we get started? Everybody has whiskey.
Yep.
All right. Everybody has a glass. Everybody has a song sheet.
Yes.
The important stuff is not the racing. Do you need more whiskey? Yeah. I'm going to say this now before we get started. Save a little bit of that whiskey in case we want to come back to it. So now I won't hear any excuses that, oh, I drank it all and I didn't know we're supposed to do that. So I gave an ultimate warning right away. That's it. All right. Simon, Laphroaig, how do you want to start, my friend?
I dreamt a dream the other night. Isla's away, my friend. Feet burning bright and copper still. Isla's away. Whiskey so sweet, beyond compare. Isla's away, my friend. Come taste me now, I'll take you there. Isla's away.
It's always good to try. Oh, we're going to start with 10. Well, it's the flagship. You always love starting with like what everybody has a bottle of this to take home with them tonight.
Thank you very
Which
much.
is great. Thank you guys for supporting Laphroaig so we can continue these great tastings.
Yeah, it's great to start with the 10-year because a lot of times any folks here tasting it for the first time.
Who's never had Laphroaig?
Fantastic. Welcome.
Welcome. Smoke them if you got them. Let's start with the 10. That way we can drink 10 while you tell us about Laphroaig and its great history.
This 10-year is a marriage of 250 barrels that are 10, 11, 12, 13 years old. It's going into it's coming off the still at 69 to 72% ABV. And then we add water, bring it down to 63%. And then put it in for the long sleep. We don't rotate barrels. We just leave them there. And let them.
Don't mess with them.
No, let Isla do its magic.
You know, the cool part of that, and I don't think a lot of people know that. I know the 10 is, if you put a number on it, that's the lowest one. But I don't think people understand that, like, at an entry level whiskey, which 10 is sort of the flagship. It's what everybody sort of starts their journey on before. I don't think a lot of people realize there are older whiskeys in that blend.
We're going to use a marriage of different barrels from different years because that's going to give you a range of flavors. Just because it's a single malt doesn't mean it's coming from a single barrel. It's coming from a marriage of different barrels. That way we can maintain a consistency with the recipe.
Right.
Because if we bottle it one barrel at a time, you're gonna get much more inconsistent flavors.
And sometimes they're great. You're gonna try some tonight that are just single barrels, which is, it's the oddity at Laphroaig and Roll.
Well, we're doing more of the single barrels.
Yes. Oh no, we're all very happy for that. Thank you.
Yeah, so this is the Johnson brothers who came to Isla. Well, let's taste some whiskey.
Has anybody started drinking 10? I don't even have to ask that question.
It's been sitting in front of me.
It's been sitting in front of you too long.
So we need a toast. May there be no hell, and if there is, I'll see you at the bar. And I always encourage folks to place the glass more towards the middle of the tongue, because when you sip at the front, you get the sweet, which is fine, but you also get the heat, alcohol sensors in the front part of your mouth. So by placing the middle of the tongue, it bypasses those heat sensors, more of the flavor, less of the brine. That's why Riedel does their whiskey glass in the tulip shape.
Yeah.
So it's depositing middle rather than the front. Taste front, taste middle, you get two very different experiences.
Well, that's interesting. Also, when you're, for those of you who don't know, when you're smelling these, because we're gonna have a lot. I know everybody thinks it's just it's one dimensional heat, but it's not. There's a lot of flavors and stuff going on there. So when you're nosing this whiskey too, when you put your nose up to it, open your mouth and sort of breathe in through your nose and your mouth at the same time. You'll get a lot more of it. The alcohol doesn't get trapped in your sinuses and sort of deaden some of those things. And you also just elongate the palate. So you smell a lot more. And as most people know, when you have a cold, you can't taste anything, right? Because the nose is connected to the tongue. So there you go.
And it leads with the smoke at 10 years. It's 10 years is a great example of whiskey not necessarily needing to be older to be better. It's just a lovely dynamic flavor at 10 years. You get it at 7 and 8 years, and you get these menthol notes. Those menthol notes start to recede at 9 and 10 years, and the smoke really starts to come to the fore. And then as you move into the teens, the 15-year bourbon cask.
Teenagers are always difficult.
Gets a little bit fruity.
Yeah.
And some folks think that that's sherry cask, but it's actually just bourbon flavors.
I think I think also people don't understand that just because it's peated doesn't mean you're not going to get like tropical and fruit flavors in it. I think it sort of negates it. It does.
No, they're just different layers.
Yeah.
I mean, you see the warehouse there.
Yeah.
Right along by the sea.
We're at Laphroaig right now. We're just looking at the warehouse.
The waves lap against the shore, and the barrels breathe. During the summer, they expand, throws the whiskey into the wood, and the whiskey, in the winter, it contracts and draws the whiskey back out. So there's this constant ebb and flow through the wood in the different warehouses, and the different warehouses will also impact the influence of the wood on the whiskey as well.
When you guys do the blendings, let's say for the 10, you're pulling barrels from different warehouses.
Multiple locations.
Yeah. It really is a magical place. And if you have never been to Isla, I encourage you to do what you have to do.
You talk about regional differences, lowlands, highlands, Speyside, islands. There's microclimates of the distilleries. Our dunnage warehouses, which is where the Laphroaig side is, right along the shoreline there. Those are earthen floors, so they're much damper and cooler. Compare that to our road warehouses where they run 9 high. They're much warmer and drier. So if we want more wood influence, we're going to move the casks up into the road warehouses. If we want more distillery character, we're going to move it to the dunnage warehouses because
it's more of a constant temperature, so you're not getting those highs and lows, and it's sort of sitting in the wood, not into the wood.
Constant cooler.
Yeah.
And particularly the older casks, at about 30 years, not only draw on the average of 2% evaporation, but you also start losing a lot of alcohol. And if it goes down below 40%, you can't sell it. You can marry it with another barrel,
right?
But so we've got to monitor it. So if we want to slow the maturation down, we're going to put them in dunnage warehouse.
If you don't want to lose more whiskey, don't let Ryan Maloney in the break out. Then you stand to lose a lot more than 2%.
That's the lion's share.
That's right. I'm gonna tell you right now, it ain't no angel.
Good.
Yeah, that's for certain. And just so you know, that like, this is where we're starting. We're starting with the 10 because we're gonna try some extraordinary whiskeys tonight. And this is sort of our jumping off point, so that you can sort of see the progression and the different flavors and the different whiskeys and expressions that come out of really this 10 starts it all.
Right.
I mean, no matter how you slice it, that's 10 starts.
And the extension from that is the 10-year cask strength.
Mhm.
From that, the 10-year cask strength, we're gonna take 100 barrels that are 10 years old from one section, from one distillation, and marry those. So if you want closer to a single barrel experience, the 10-year cask strength. And we do a different batch each year. And it's whatever.
Batch number 14 was exceptionally good. Do you remember that?
I'm a fan of number 12.
Number 12? Yeah.
Because that was 60.2% ABV.
Oh, you're one of those proof people, huh?
Absolutely.
As we like to call those whiskey concentrates. Yeah, you get the higher proof, you can add a little water to it. And by the way, as we're going along tonight, you guys all have, by the way, our Go Whiskey Week water sponsor, Icelandic glacier water. Add a drop after you've tasted it. Add a drop, just a drop of water to your sample, and you can see like the difference just adding a slight bit of water base in whiskey.
And you can add it directly to your whiskey, or the other way of doing it is by marrying it in your mouth.
We call that the Randall method. Yeah, Randall Bird patented that actually.
Did he really?
Yeah, the drawings are for the patent office are quite unique. For the whole process.
So every time I do it, he
gets money. Damn it. He's rolling it. Drawing it something. All right, so you're the one that said let's do the 10, but let's go to the sherry next. And I think this whiskey is gaining in popularity. Like every day I see more and more people going to this sherry finish.
Yeah, the sherry oak.
The sherry oak finish, which is 48% ABV or 96 proof.
8 years bourbon, 2 years.
2 years sherry.
2 years oral, so sherry. Yeah. It's more of a classical style. It's more of the style that Bessie Williams had been making back in the day, using sherry casks. And the sherry cuts the sweet. 99% of our barrels are used American bourbon barrels, Maker's Mark primarily. We have a long-standing relationship.
Do you know? Yeah.
Yeah.
That actually happened before they were owned by the same company, right? That goes back further than
beyond the ally.
Yeah, doesn't it? I thought it did. You guys have been using Maker's Mark even before Beam Suntory were part of that audience, right? Which is really cool because it's that synergy that just kept going.
So it's been a great relationship for us.
Yeah.
Makers has done so well, so we got really good quality barrels.
This is really good. I like this. I like this. And what I like about this is that you can now get it all the time.
It is part of our core range.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, like a lot of stuff, like we look for sherry. A lot of stuff was like limited releases and stuff like that. Sherry.
yeah, well, the tendency is we pushing the bourbon cask because that is the house style,
Right.
and the sherry cuts the smoke. You know, our partner on the island, they use more sherry cask. So, but we like the smoke up front.
And people don't realize that there is a pretty good symbiosis with Bowmore. I know you guys are on the same kind of company, but again, before that even happened, I always noticed that Laphroaig and Bowmore, so I don't like we're always sympathetic
except when Port Allen and Wilmore get together and play rugby.
Well, that's a different story. Scrum is the scrum, you know what I'm saying?
Pride of the village.
Pride of the village, you're absolutely right. What do you guys think of the sherry finish?
I got a question.
Sure, what's your question, sir?
So we did a Scotch presentation for one of our Scotch clubs the other
Yeah.
day, and one of the things we discussed was why, if the sherry cask sits for 18 months to almost 2 years, why can we only call it a 10-year-old? Is it because once it comes out of that first primary 10-year-old oak cask that you cannot
So
then call it?
he's asking like
older than that?
right, when it's a 10-year-old and you're aging it for a little, let's say a couple of years in cherry cask, that it's still called a 10-year-old. It's not, you can call it a 12.
Then why don't we call the Laphroaig sherry cask anything?
Because
It could be
there's
an 11.
but there's also a mix in there too.
Okay, so that's what we.
So there's a mix, so
There's a
right,
mix
am I right on
throwing
that?
a 10-year-old back in.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's what we said. We wanted to make sure that we were correct.
They're also talking about now, an age range
Yeah.
where you're not calling it finishing it.
Yeah.
It's now a double cast. So, I believe that they're trying to go 3 year, anything over the 3 years in another cast is a double cast, not a finishing.
Yeah.
Anymore. So, I mean, I think you're probably free to use both, but I've heard that several times. That they're looking at that and they're gonna make a ruling on it. But if you see double cast, usually just, it can mean that there's two different, they're aging in two different casts, then blending them together at the end. Or it can also mean that move to another cast and then finished aging in that other cast.
So we just went with what we thought, and we were like, yeah, nobody's gonna know the difference. So.
Yeah, I mean, it is sort of no one's gonna know the difference. It's like, I mean, this has been an argument for a while, but we know from Glomorangey is that sort of like moving to another cast, that finishing, the clock is still ticking. Right? If they could do it. So, so it's been sort of established that you don't have to, and the basic thing is that you're not basically stopping the aging process. When you're moving from cast to cast, the age doesn't stop because you haven't bottled it yet. I all the time, as a retailer, I always get, well, I know it says 10, but I've had it for 20 years.
Yeah.
So is it 30? Nope, still 10. Because the clock stops as soon as you bottle. Right?
Yeah, I get folks who will say that about 10 years that they've had for 15 years.
Right.
Is it 25? No, it's not getting any older. But you are.
And that's the difference right there. It's a drink because it's not gonna last forever. But the other part of that though, too, is what's very interesting is that I always tell people if they have a 10 and they had it for 20 years, like they had a 10-year-old, like let's say they had a 10-year-old before and they had it for like, especially like you get to like 15, 20 years, I go buy it, and it's not the retailer, buy another 10 and compare them.
Yes.
Because they're gonna change. There's a drift. No matter how much you try to make that 10 always taste the same, there's inevitably a drift.
Yeah.
So
That's
what they were drinking 10, like 20 years ago as 10, and what we're drinking now as 10 is going to taste different.
That's what you're
Yeah.
getting.
Yeah, generations that it changes.
Yeah.
Ryan, we've had a tasting here with Johnny Walker Black
Right.
for
But Johnny Walker Black,
multiple decades. I have 5 decades worth of Johnny Walker Black.
Charlie has this from the beginning. He started
Yeah.
with John. And we now call him no age statement whiskey. We call him no age statement Charlie.
I have a
But originally it was old man whiskey.
Yeah.
Because he was there at the beginning.
Yes.
He laid the foundation at Laphroaig.
Thanks, Ryan.
He's a Mason. I'm just saying, whatever. Yes, he's the third. Yeah, that's what he likes to think. All right, does everyone like that? What do you guys think of the sherry? Sherry cast. Is anybody first time trying the sherry cast? Yeah. Pretty good, right? Yeah. This is sort of part of what we're doing here too, guys. You're gonna try some whiskey that you can't get a hold of. These are ones you can, but it's also liquid to lips. It's also having you try whiskey. So you go and buy it. You already know the answer. If you don't like this, then don't buy this. If you like this, then buy this. But you know the answer before you leave the store. It's not a guessing game. And we try to do that as much as possible. And that's what Simon is all over the country doing. Is having people try Laphroaig so they know the answer.
And the sherry cask is a great recommendation for Macallan drinkers who might be interested in Iowa, but 10-year, it's gonna blow their heads off.
Literally, blow their heads.
So it's introduction.
Yeah.
Or wine drinkers. You know, just
That's a good one too. Is people talking. It does have that not the whining that Charlie does, but on. Set yourself up. All right. So now we've done basically the flagship. We've done the sherry. So you guys know what sort of sherry finish tastes like, real finish. Now we're going to start delving into some very different Laphroaigs. Right?
Well, in some ways they're classic.
The classic.
Because they're from obviously they're from the distillery, but we've had time now to be able to offer wider variety of styles because up until 10, 15 years ago, the focus was really on core range, 10-year, Porticas, 15-year, 18-year when we had them. But because we've been producing 30, 40 years ago, higher rates of production.
Right.
We've got more liquid.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But so now some experimentation now.
And we've got that older liquid. Omar, our sister distillery, doesn't have the pressure of the 10-year, which has always been the foundation for us.
Right.
So it's that's really the end to our means.
Yeah. Absolutely. And it's so for those of you who don't know, Laphroaig has now started a single barrel program. What was really great is we got to be part of the sort of guinea pigs for that and sort of going through and figuring out how that was going to sort of present itself. We're going to try a whiskey tonight that was pre that program, but we're going to also try a whiskey. The next whiskey is the whiskey, one of the first barrels within the program. So we got presented. Yes, Charlie.
I think there's a difference between what we have on the tasting mat and what's on the board there. That has the third whiskey being I Love You Too. Here it's I Love You.
Yeah,
Number 3.
Right.
The
But you're
tasting mat is
the
Tasting mat's
is
incorrect. Okay.
Go to PX I Love You Too.
Okay. Which is
that's
the
my
fourth.
undying devotion to you, Charlie. PX I Love You Too.
Yep.
So this is a continuation of the one that it's going to predate what the barrel program is.
Yep.
This is PX I Love You Too. So we're doing it in this order because this is an 8-year-old.
Yep.
And this is one that we chose as part of the first run of the barrel program. And what was really great for me is doing this with the guys from Washington, DC. Jack Rose, everybody from Jack Rose, Bill, and Bill Thomas is one of my like heroes. So getting to pick up
Been to Jack Rose?
anybody been to Jack Rose in
Yeah.
DC? Yeah. If you've ever in DC, go to Jack Rose dining school. You will not be disappointed. And we get to do stuff with them, and we got the barrels. We actually split the barrels. So they get some of ours and we get some of theirs. That's sort of gone. We still have just a small amount of bars left, which is PX I Love You Too. And the funny part was, we went through the program.
And you were the first group to
Yeah.
go through.
Yeah. Well, I think it said, let's see if it works with these idiots. It'll work with anybody. And the funny part was is that when we did it, we started tasting some of the barrels and stuff like that. And we were like, we really want to like get in there and see if there's more barrels that we can try. So the compromise to that was the distillery opened up more barrels for us, but we couldn't draw the whiskey. We could only draw so many of the barrels whiskey. So we became the bung sniffing group. And there is pictures of this, so I'm not lying. So all the barrels are open, and all we were doing is putting our hands on the barrel and sniffing the barrels to try to get an idea of which ones we wanted to sample.
It was like Mecca.
It was. It was. I mean, it just. I have pictures of it. I just usually don't show people the pictures of it because my nose is like all the way inside the bunghole, so not exactly the greatest look in the world, but it served its purpose.
How many bungs and bung sniffers there?
A lot. Too many. So what you have here is the one that we eventually came up with, which is another PX cask. PX is Pedro Jimenez, which is a dessert sherry, it's a sweet sherry. So try that. This is the 8-year-old. This is the one right here, and I will tell you that this is 120.8 proof. So no water added. You can add something to try it too. This is number 3 on your look for PX I Love You Too.
It's number 4 on
Number 4 on your sheet. And okay, what's the third one?
And I'll offer a toast.
There we go.
This is to the Spanish in their sherry casks, otherwise we wouldn't have this whiskey. Salud, dinero, amor, y el tiempo para conquistar todo. I've no idea what I just said there. Hopefully health, wealth, love, and the time to conquer all. Salud.
Salud.
He asked him with that. This is like somebody telling you the wrong thing. Oh yeah, tell him this, and he can't tell you to swear.
Yeah.
He just told us all to go to hell.
So how does this differ from the PX cast, the travel exclusive that you get in the airports?
Better.
It's not a single.
It's not a single cast.
Okay.
So the travel exclusive that you get would be like this sherry cask.
Yeah.
But done with PX sherry instead.
Okay.
So it's a mixture of different barrels that are blended together. This is a single barrel. So just remember, a single barrel it's a very unique thing. You can't fix anything. It has to be stellar on its own. Right? Because I can't do a blend. I can't do all this other stuff that I can make it taste better or take something out or add something in. It has to just be what it is. And that's a very beautiful thing. The art is blending. The sheer luck
Yes.
is finding a great cast.
And this,
So-
this is one of 326 bottles.
There's there's not many of those left.
That's from a hogshead.
Mhm.
Our bourbon barrels at around this age are producing about 270, 280.
Yeah, that's the ones that one. All right, what do you guys think of the PX sherry going with the peat? Right? It's like my barbecue. It's got that sweet, smoky
What kind of barbecue is it?
Memphis.
Memphis?
It's definitely Memphis.
North Carolina?
No vinegar.
Texas?
Texas, all right. Then I'd have to say yeehaw.
Yeehaw!
Yeehaw. I think I've done that before after doing it. The secondary nose on this though, when you go back and taste it, go back into the glass. I just love it. It's just like somebody just put out a campfire. Right? It's so good. It's so good.
What was the proof again?
120.8 because I know that's pretty important for everybody. 0.8, but almost 121. But not. What do you guys think of this? Yeah, you like it? Drop of water again. If you really want to taste some other like how the depth and the flavor of these things, just a drop. They don't have to go nuts, just a drop. I just find like even like when you start getting up to 120, like I usually drink most of my stuff between 100 and 110. I get whiskey concentrate. I'm actually getting it better than the stuff. I go into the Scottish book. I get that more whiskey than I bought by doing that. This one's still a 7. No, it's 700 mil. I like that one.
Yeah, the single barrel program, when we first launched it, the program itself, you preceded the program. That was.
Yeah. So Alistair Longwell, we actually did a barrel with Alistair Longwell, he's pretty high up in the company now.
He's head of chief of distilling for
Yeah.
Scotch distilleries.
He's very nice guy. We did a 12-year-old argument with
The Lock and Key.
Society. You know, this is I'd say we kept trying to do more barrels, and then the people on this side of the pond didn't know what to do. Like they would like change positions, and they didn't know how to do what the previous person knew how to do. So we had to start all over again. until you got involved and said, okay, we're going to do a barrel program. Here's how we're going to do it. And that's what this is.
It was, we were working on it. It was a works in progress.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we had 5 different styles of whiskey, bourbon cask, refill bourbon cask, Oloroso sherry, PX, and virgin French oak.
Right.
You choose one of those styles, and then we had in warehouse 7, we had it set up, and that's where you did your bunk sniffing.
Yep. Not proud of it, but yes, the cool part was on this too is we picked the PX cask relatively quickly, and Randall and I were there doing it at this particular picking of the barrel, and Bill was with one of his top guy, Chris, and they were picking there, and all Randall and I kept doing is, I really hope they pick that barrel. Really, because there was a second barrel that we really liked, and we were like, I really hope they pick that barrel. And we're not going to influence them. We're just, pick what you want, and that's the barrel they picked. And that was great. That's why we swapped. And actually, if you go to, I don't know if they're still doing it, but if you go to Jack Rose, they do a flight. They do their pick, our pick, and then it blended together, and it's fantastic blended together too. They did a Vino Barrique, and we did a PX Sherry Castle. It was pretty cool.
And this one came from warehouse 1,
Which is right on that.
right on water. You see that the Laphroaig banner on the side of the wall there.
You guys see that up there? Right where Megazone's head is.
This one comes from right behind the G spot. A lot of people have a hard time finding it.
We've been canceled. Awesome. Listen, I just said Karen on the other night, and she has the record for the most swears. You may have the record for getting us kicked off.
What did I say?
If only you were that stupid. I know you're. All right, so the next one that you're gonna try. So did everybody like that? Yeah, that's the 8-year-old. All right. The next one we're gonna try. Simon and I talked about this. You ever play the game telephone? All right. and you tell a story, by the time you get to the end, the story has just totally blown out of proportion, it's like not everything that it started with. So Simon and I talked about it, and said, like, really want to pick a single barrel, is it possible? Lock and Key Society is going over, I'd like to see if we can do that when we're over there. Would that be possible? And at the time, John Campbell was the master distiller. And so so Simon says, yeah, sure. He says, Ryan's going to over pick some styles, like free reign. This is what we're sort of looking for, but just pick some barrels, and when they come over, they'll try some. By the time we got over there and I saw John, he goes, I have no idea what you want. So I just picked like this huge array of barrels and said, like, knock yourself out, go taste whatever you want to taste, and then have fun. All right. So Charlie, myself,
Randall and John Campbell.
Went into a room and we just went through the barrels that he picked. Now, there was four of them. And there was some great barrels in there. What was the other one that we really liked? Was it an Amontillado?
Yes.
Was it an Amontillado? Which is really weird, isn't it? So we'll get to that story later. We picked the PX. He's like, this is a really, Brian, I'm happy you picked this, but it's a really strange barrel. And it has a very sort of interesting story. And I think I've got this right from him. We had to put on this. It's 14 years old, and this is going to get to your part, sir. We called it 2005 vintage cask because we weren't sure how we could add the age. Okay? Because it's a single cask, but not really a single cask. So these were quarter casks that were all put into a PX sherry butt and then aged for 9 years.
These were experiments from the success of our quarter
casks. Right. And so these quarter casks got thrown into this bigger barrel. So they were basically like we wrote it down because you said, all I want to do is I want to be very transparent about it. So let's write it down. Because I didn't know how else to tell us. And this is why we ended up using the term 2005 vintage cask. So there's no age statement on this. Technically, there's no age statement. So this starts as first fill ex-bourbon barrels for 4.5 years. Okay. Then it's in first fill PX hogshead for 9.5 years. So it's been, if you wanted to say it was finishing, it's been in finishing longer than it was in the original barrel. So you can see where it's sort of like, you sort of get this, well, what is it? And I don't really care what it is. I loved it. So PX, I love you. And that's the first one. So that's a 14-year-old. These are very, very popular. They did really, really well. It's just a beautiful taste. This is at 54.4. So 108 proof, which I thought was a fantastic one. Distilled in 2005. So see what you guys think of that. I'm saying it's 14 years old. If you look at the damn color on your thing, this is, you have it listed as PX I love you. And no, Charlie, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that's the name of the list.
Need to do it, John Campbell.
Oh yeah, we should do that.
John Campbell. So this is John Campbell's favorite. So they're these big hairy beasts that run about the island of Ireland, born, we call them. It's not the English. Anybody know?
You?
Very good.
Who? A hairy who? So here's John's story. On yonder hill there stood a coo. It's not there new. It must have moved.
Tastes good today is the day. Do you guys like that one? Yeah, these aren't really available. These have gone to auction for over $1,500.
Yeah, up to 2,000 now.
Yeah, it's up to 2,000 now. A bottle. And everybody thought it was crazy when I put it out at $200. $200. Yeah, experience it.
John Campbell had a good palate.
He did.
He does.
He still does.
We would go to the warehouse like prior to we would fetch. And we would have the distillers seminar. We just go into the warehouses and wander about and pour bottles and just try different locations. Number 7 warehouse, which is just behind the number 1 warehouse, produces some really interesting whiskey, just some funky whiskeys.
I love this.
It's good.
You guys like it? Not just me. No. Yeah. That's a good one. Very good. All right. That's 14 years old. You want to tell us about the next whiskey? Okay.
This is the first of our strong character series. This is Donald Johnston, one of the brothers. Donald and Alexander Johnston were the farmers who had moved from the mainland of Scotland to farm Islay back in the early 1800s. They wanted to farm as well as make whiskey. They found they were making more money making whiskey. So by 1815, they established the distillery. 1823, they got the license to do it legally.
Oh, it's an old story.
These things take time.
I'm just gonna point this out. I don't think I've ever been at a distillery that goes way back then, that ever started legally. You know, the new distilleries, of course, yes,
Yes.
but the older distilleries, I don't think want because it's always a fight of when they were established. Oh, we got our license on this date, but we were distilling, 20 years before that and running from the revenues,
That's why spirit was so good. And Laphroaig had such a reputation.
And you're on Islay, which today is not an easy place to get to.
Possible.
Some days it is. We've had that happen.
Don't be surprised if you take the plane and end up back in Glasgow. The airport there's no radar. You have to land visually.
Yeah.
So a lot of times pilots will fly over to the island, fly around the island, trying to find a hole in the clouds and end up back in Glasgow.
We get to the airport. I've only taken the plane out of Islay once. Okay. We get to the airport last time and I go, is our flight gonna leave? We'll see. And that was they'll see. If you leave a half an hour late, no. But if you leave in the next 15 minutes, probably yes.
Unfortunately, that's the same answer from the ferry.
The ferry has not the same reputation, doesn't it? Yeah.
But the Johnson brothers, I mean, today it's a 20-minute flight if the plane's online. Or you drive 2.5 hours from Glasgow to the coast.
Everybody knows Scotland does not have a straight road in the entire country.
And in fact, the Mull of Kintyre, which is the Kennakraig, is the port that you depart from to Islay. That's the northern tip of the Mull of Kintyre, which was made famous by Paul McCartney.
Mhm.
And he had his sheep farm there. And the long and winding road is the road to his farm on Mull of Kintyre. But Johnson brothers, when they would bring their whiskey to market, it would take them the whole day to sail from Islay to the mainland. And then it would take them a week to get over the mountains by car. But the most dangerous aspect was the boat ride, the sail. And you needed something to calm your nerves and settle your stomach, take away the queasiness of that ocean-going voyage. So that's why Donald Johnson said, what you need is a dram of mine. That's why the term drama comes from.
No. We try though. Somebody's gonna come to me next week and go, you know what the term grandma means. I heard Simon. So, that's
Well,
right.
let the truth get in the way of it.
Yeah, that's right. Those are, it's really great.
So this is a 33-year combination of bourbon and sherry cask.
Yep.
Primarily bourbon.
It's funny how like, okay, if you save some of the 10. But if you go back, if you see like how even the peatiness and the way the peat presents itself is now different. In that 10, you get still some of that sweetness. And now you get more of like like those earthy sides to this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you want to toast?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. I haven't drunk it yet, so yeah. I'm waiting for you.
For the whiskey men and women and whiskey they produce. Willie brewed a peck of malt with Robin Allen came to three blither hearts that leaning nine you would have found in Christendie. We're not that food, just a drop in our eat, the cock may crow, the day may dawn, but we'll still drink our barley breed. Now, for those of you who didn't understand the word, I'll translate. It goes like this: Willie brewed some damn fine scotch. Robin Allen came to taste it. Once on court, the friends confessed, not a drop will be wasted. We're not drunk, we're not that drunk, just a little tipsy. The day may dawn, work may call, but we'll still drink our whiskey. So,
Well, I'll give it the New England seal of approval. That doesn't suck. It's nice.
and the artwork is by Billy Bragg. It's this beautiful black and white illustrations. On the bottle itself was a rather pivotal moment in the life of Donald Johnston. He and Alexander, they established the distillery in 1823. 1847, at the age of 37, Donald Johnston fell into the vat of burnt pot ale at the distillery and succumbed to his injuries. So we like to say there's a little bit of the Johnson family in every bottle. Where you get the body from? Look at the legs on this. But it's actually
It's Dad Joe Central.
it's very interesting to know because I've actually met a couple here at Julio's at one of the whiskey weekends who brought to me a death certificate, a relative of theirs
Yeah.
who passed away at the Laphroaig distillery of a similar circumstance.
Really?
Yeah. Sounds like a Murder She Wrote episode.
That's
But no, it was unfortunately it was a common occurrence because during
Yeah.
fermentation, the two things that are produced, what is that? CO2 and alcohol. And the CO2, a lot of times workers they get into the mash tuns, they use the fermentation washbacks, and they would succumb to the CO2. That's why when you come to the distilleries, their fermentation rooms are all built up on gantries so that you're above the heavier CO2 gases.
Which sink. They sink, right? Yeah. We don't want anybody falling in. And succumbing.
Well, Donald, we kept throwing him a line, he kept throwing it back.
That's dedication. Yeah. You guys think? I think you're drinking like the last bottle in Massachusetts. I don't think there's any more of this. So I hope you enjoy it. It's a really good bottle. All right, so the next bottling is not an official Laphroaig bottle. I'll say that. but it's in memory of a friend of ours named Michael Walsh. So, you know, but unfortunately, Michael passed away at the beginning of COVID, and passed away. The thing struggled really hard to do that, and I'll let you. His birthday just passed, and his wife Sherry is actually on her way tomorrow to Scotland to Laphroaig, to spread his ashes in Scotland. So, in memory of Mike, Single Cast Nation, our good friend Josh Haddon, found a 22-year-old cask of Laphroaig, Mike's favorite, awful. The 22-year-old aged in sherry. So you're trying that tonight. There was only 60 bottles produced from that now. So,
And his wife's name is
Sherry.
Sherry.
I have the bottle.
Did not fall in the thing, there's nothing like this by a sherry. But this is his bottling, and I thought it was only appropriate that we're doing a legendary tasting tonight, that we have one of his bottles. So
Thank you.
That's Michael he was a legend.
he was a legend. That's exactly the point. Yeah.
I know him he would travel all over the Northeast
Mm.
for tastings.
Yep.
I-
He might be more known. He may be more or equally known for Laphroaig as you. That's how much travel. He was a dedicated man.
Go front row.
Yep.
New Hampshire Highland Games.
Yep.
Whiskey cruises.
Very good man. Very enjoyable. Many talks with Mike and a couple people that I traveled with him at one point. We crossed paths. We were in Scotland a couple times too, which was great. Him and his wife Sherry. Here's
Yeah. We were going to do a lock and key whiskey trip to Ireland, and I was flying back from Dublin after visiting a number of distilleries to see what we could do.
Yeah.
Mike and Sherry were sitting in the seats immediately behind me on the.
Yeah, I mean,
And 6 weeks later, he was gone.
yeah. I mean, and the funny part is I would run into him like that all the time.
Yep.
Like being on, and all of a sudden I'm like, hey, Mike, what are you doing? It's like we're on separate trips and we run into him.
Mike was a nurse at the VA hospital
Yep.
in Northampton.
Northampton.
Yep.
So, Mr. Mike Walsh.
You're here.
Thank you, everybody. It's my point.
Deep piece of the running waves, deep piece of the shining stars, deep piece of the singing earth, deep piece. Mr. Michael.
Mike. Here's-
His ashes are also at Laphroaig.
We had the honor of being before past April, we were sharing a portion of Mike's remains.
Mike's amazing. Yeah.
He is right in front of Warehouse One, so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right
we
for the
did, we
G.
did a toasting to Michael with his ashes in front of that picture right there, so.
Right.
Thank you, Michael.
You have some of those ones. This picture is actually,
The artwork is.
the artwork is really great on this. I just wanted to get everybody so everybody knew. 51, 2. Great. It's actually from a photo. The picture is actually a photo. It was a balcony. No,
Yes,
it's not the owl.
Yes, the owls.
Is it the- Oh, it is the owl. You're right. It is the- That's good. So I'm just going to point this out. You can get it. You can get it. Almost gone. 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 We wanted you guys to try it. Now the funny thing is that we don't have tonight our next barrel, which is hopefully on its way. So the next barrel that we're doing is an 11-year-old Laphroaig in Amontillado barrel, which is funny because that was the other whiskey we were looking at originally when we did PXM up And although it is very apt to say the cast of Amontillado would be a great name, cast, I just felt it's too obvious. It's just too obvious. So for those of you who are looking for it and want to put a whole card in, because we have people that have done that or looking for this whiskey, it is gonna be coming in. The name of the barrel is Fortunato's Folly. Now, if you know the story of the Cask of Amontillado, Fortunato is the braggart, knowing all about wine that gets bricked into the wall. So here's something that you may not know. So Edgar Allan Poe has roots here in Massachusetts. The story goes is that he was at Castle Island, Fort Independence, when he had heard a story that inspired him to write the Cask of Amontillado. So it all ties in together. It's amazing the coincidence that happened in this world. And the first whiskey barrel that we were ever going to do from Laphroaig in that choices was an Amontillado. So pretty neat coming around. So keep an eye out for that. We'll have a bottle open so you can try it. You gotta try some thing.
I love it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be getting a bottle of that.
No folly.
It's no folly. Sometimes it's folly. I want to thank everybody. Don't leave. Okay. I want to thank everybody for coming here. I'm going to end this. So, you can always go back and look at this if your memory is faltering or you're having trouble sleeping at night. You can get It's the Liquor Talking on Spotify or wherever you do. We also have a YouTube channel. I get some QR codes here. You can subscribe to the channel. You get like 200 something videos up there that you can do, and it's mostly our Whiskey Wednesdays and our radio show on Saturday. But I'm going to say goodbye to the interwebs. Yeah, of course you can. Yeah, go ahead. You certainly can. Go right ahead.
My ship lies at anchor. I soon now must dock. I wish you safe journey without any shock. And if ever we should meet again by land or by sea, I will always remember your kindness to me. So here's a health to the company and one to my lass. Let's drink and be merry, all out of one glass. Let's drink and be merry, all grief to refrain. For I may or might never meet here again.
So, thank you, everybody on the internet, for joining us. You should have been here because it was.